As I said, Balthazar is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All three of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe.
But you can't get away from the fact that a burned-up piece of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The cup is at the yard, I reckon it's probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
This stupid old ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Stupido.
The assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonging to you.
Si, exactamente. If you even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war.
You're 11.
What happened to all out war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statement, the court must consider them the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend.
The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe. Senor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was macing. But we're talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake about something so grand and expensive?
I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. And I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task.
What? Me? I tell you what I told the boss. East End kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss partisan said he'd have to go himself in that case. I mean, even if you can only count to 2, if there were only one more than 2, you would know that there was one more than 2.
I don't know. I counted 2, and then there was another one. I didn't know what number it was anymore.
There was
11, 46.
I counted 2, and then there was one else. I don't know the math.
Peach pie? I don't know. What are numbers?
The theoretical concept of I as a number. Oh.
Also, though, the fact that he bought it, like, you would think a pickpocket would at least be decent at counting because they're a pickpocket.
Yeah.
It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiot? Sorry? That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And a balloon flies because it flies. What else? There must be Italian for I don't know.
There are 2 types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air.
See, my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe.
Hydrogen, lighter than air, but highly explosive.
Good lord.
I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes on any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like a fire.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is explosione, explosione. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Shady said he wants that hat so bad. I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues?
Nah, I'm not into picking stuff off the ground, me.
Oh yeah, Jay, I knew you meant Loon's hat.
Always works out better diving into people's pockets instead.
So much for the new career path.
Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees picking up all kind of rubbish off the floor. Thing is, though, the cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that's when most of the investigating was going on.
Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence.
Oh, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world.
Pardon?
Well, you ain't got the badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to.
Wouldn't put it past her.
Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at the meeting we had about the investigation.
There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there?
Yeah, some of the cows were watching where the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. Good job, the old contraption didn't kill over, eh?
I didn't even consider that.
It seems there was a great panic after the incident occurred.
Panic After the Incident is my favorite punk band.
No! Oh, chime in!
Are you trying to do... I always rate Sins Not Tragedies with a Cockney accent?
Yeah. Nevertheless, the police should have missed a torn piece of envelope from the balloon.
I rate needles, not tragedies. Pins and needles.
Pins and needles. Is that how you say sins?
I mean, I just did that. I don't know if if actual people do.
Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh?
The man's sole pleasure. None of this matters. That scrap of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. Stupid ragazzo. You mean the color is wrong? Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse. Yes, and yet a piece of green cloth is found at the scene. It's unmistakably from a balloon. Well, I do not know how that can be.
For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You could therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreation of balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Exhibition. one could have exploded on some earlier date, unfortunately, as I'm sure you'd agree.
You do believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition?
Si, exactamente as the senor says, not from one of my balloons. Clearly this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
He's not very happy.
Is something wrong, Master Gotts? It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein! It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear it. I swear all over Bohemia. You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you do not have evidence, Ragazzo, then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is this evidence?
Give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance, some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious.
What? I had not been brought up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets of London, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon.
Hot eel cellar.
An instantaneous kinesis machine. Did you take a picture of that? Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a ride in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph? Of course, and then you will see.
It will take 3 days to develop the picture.
You will see that I am not lying, that I really did see a green balloon. They're I think the Polaroids. That's the word I was thinking. They're Polaroids. They're just old tiny Polaroids.
Great goof.
I ruined it by taking too long to think.
A plus material.
Will, I see you're all too shocked to speak.
C plus delivery.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from this photograph, but that is not my fault. That is the fault of this stupid person who made the camera. I don't even know how to cry like that.
What?
Cries in Bohemian.
Why is the onomatopoeia umlauted?
Because it's Bohemian.
Well, for the sake of all my linguistic heads out there, that is one very Bohemian sounding cry.
That is one very Bohemian sounding cry.
Umlauts just make it so you have to pronounce the A in its natural sound without influenced by the words around it. So,
but isn't it already like that?
Because you could be like, wow.
Or is that way?
Yeah, it would be like, way. Which is a very... It's a very weird way to cry.
Very well, accept this photograph as evidence.
I mean, that's just how all Bohemians cried. You can't prove it, there's none around now.
I guess so.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera. Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph? Well, it was on the day of the big explosion. You don't say. when I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred.
Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give it a flying fig.
Lovely language you've picked up. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, you're just kind of like drifting out of the camera.
Yeah, I was speaking about outcry.
Oh. Okay, well. We are there.
We are there. We need to present the evidence. Oh.
Did we did get the new picture. Yeah. That's the picture of the green balloon, supposedly.
It's empty.
It's also not green.
Yeah, but who's flying an empty balloon?
I don't know, God? Arceus?
Okay, let's go to the next case, and the next scene. There.
Maybe the ghost of Mr. Aslan's flying the balloon.
Present the photo. Yeah, that's such a weird...
Unfortunately, the photograph Mr. Gotts took can't have tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else, something crucially important.
What?
It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
My goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There'd be no sense in it otherwise.
See! They are for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers.
Yeah, how would you get it down otherwise?
Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them, so the incident occurred that day. There was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
I know nothing, niente. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere that you care to look. Clearly, one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Explosion.
Exhibition.
What?
The Great Exhibition.
Oh, the Great Exhibition. And managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Loon's patch without him realizing.
See, the competizione, trying to steal my profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage.
The fourth balloon exploded at the very same moment Mr. Asman was beamed from the stage below.
Right, so the scraps that fell on the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was a bit of the balloons raining down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention.
A mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carried no one operated by some rogue trader clearly has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevancy does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
Corn.
Corn blimey.
Corn blimey.
Really? Have you really gotten to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? Is there more we can learn from it?
I mean, I'm gonna pick the answer I wouldn't pick if I couldn't be wrong.
Which
There's nothing
is?
else.
Nothing else?
There's nothing else.
I'm really not sure that there is, but if I say there isn't, it's all over.
Eh.
I'm just going to have to assume some other clue exists here somewhere and stall for time.
Oh, Renosuke, no!
Only
Renosuke, no!
Well, that's what the player does then.
Oh.
Like, to be honest, a majority of players that click yes there is are just clicking yes there is because they're gonna assume there is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really true. Like, it's just, I feel called out because, like, that's usually what I do. I'm just like, I mean, I'm sure there is. It's giving me the option. Renosuke doesn't have to read me like that.
Shady said too meta.
It is way too meta. But this time I actually know that there's more it can tell us.
If only I could find something more, anything at all this picture could tell us.
Your face has turned a similar shade to the photograph, my learned friend.
That's pretty cheeky coming from Von Ziegs that has the complexion of, like, wet newspaper.
Excuse me, it's the complexion of white wine.
But white wine is like yellow.
Not
Oh,
my
sorry.
white wine.
Sorry, yeah, it's slightly murky white wine. It's from the finer restaurant.
You've seen the writing on the wall.
Oh, hey, Dragon. Welcome. Feeling super rare when Ace Attorney has to do something you're not supposed to do it? Yeah, it is rare. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give up your decisions yet. The photograph Mr. Gotts might well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue? That expression. God.
So Miss Aperturina to voice him as Waluigi.
I don't think I could do Waluigi's voice.
Am I the clue? I'm a lead.
Waluigi canonically has a potty mouth, though. Like, he's...
Waluigi needs to now have a spin-off game where he's a magician.
Wow, is this your car?
It fit his whole, like, rows in his teeth stuff he's been doing, and, like...
Yeah. And...
Very
like,
flamboyant.
Did you mean card? No, car! And then he like takes out a car from behind the person's ear.
We're well past the point of mere possibilities.
Oh, welcome. I do not know how to read your name, I'm sorry. But welcome.
Oh, that's a really beautiful name. I don't know how to read your name, I'm sorry. It's like John, we had a baby, it's a boy.
There it is.
I already read this line.
It's not. Yeah, but the name isn't an English character, so I can't read it.
Oh, fair.
But welcome.
It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does the alleged clue in the photograph prove?
The cause of the explosion.
It does?
Yeah.
Sounds like you saw then with the...
Yeah, I saw.
Could reasonably assume the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion. Yeah! That's right, yeah! It was not my fault!
Evidently. Because a vertical from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloons being filled with flammable hydrogen instantly exploded and ignited.
No, that's not what happened.
What?
Nani?
Nani?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, he will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. Which shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have, in a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon has exploded is...
I'm firing my laser.
Where? Here?
Yeah.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous.
Ladybug, get it, youth. I'm hip with the times. Cat Noir.
If you look,
Reference.
you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon.
Most likely we're like incidentally on the film.
Why'd your voice was so weird?
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the shore.
You're making fun of my height, Your Honor.
Oh,
If you look in a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright line really is.
was this the one time that the magnifying glass was relevant?
What do you mean? How's it relevant?
Because he said if you look at it with a magnifying glass, like, were we supposed to like
No,
identify?
it
something?
doesn't look any different.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I got excited.
Goodness, what is that?
Undeniably, it's a fashion light. Yes.
Oh, golly, do you think it might be lightning?
But it couldn't have been a finer day.
I believe we've been looking at a fire. I don't know, give me a new voice.
A ball of light standing straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed, even in my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word, I suggested this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon.
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly reach such a height.
What if somebody cast Fireball? Actually, that's my opinion. That a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how this is exactly what did happen.
But the fireball spell only has a range of 30 feet.
Does it? I don't actually know.
But if it was cast by meta magic to extend the reach,
If you were a battle mage, you could do it without concentration. That's not even relevant. What evidence?
And Shady said
Well-
he thinks it's 60 to 120.
If you know what the range of the fireball spell is in D&D 5th edition, comment down below.
Excuse
Also-
me, I never said it was 5th edition.
Oh. If you know what the range of the fireball spell is in every single edition of Dungeons & Dragons, comment down below with all that information, as well as your favorite D&D spell. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all our content, and stay tuned for some more surprises along the way. Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba. Wah.
Also, I
Whatever.
didn't say it was from D&D's.
Oh
Firewall.
no, Pathfinder! I already claimed my one. I can only do it once a stream.
That's why I let you
Sorry.
finish.
If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man. What evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to have headed directly for the balloon?
We're just gonna get a lot of irrelevant information, but it's gonna be the crossbow.
You sure
It's
it's
gonna
not
be the crossbow
Andrew?
for me. It's gonna be the crossbow for me, bro.
Wait, why does it not say Andrew anymore?
Oh no!
They took his
Andrew.
name out.
Don't forget him.
Don't forget me. Think you can take me?
As he stabbed.
this was found hidden at the foot of the small ornamental tree near the scene.
Dragon said Firaga.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
Zimto flare!
An arrow dipped in oil and set alight could have been shot from this weapon.
Do you know that reference? Semto fire.
Arrows dipped in fire?
Oh, arrows dipped in fire.
Sending a hydrogen arrow. Hydrogen arrow. Just making stuff up now.
Hydrogen arrows. Oh man, Horizon Forbidden West sounds amazing.
Sending a flaming arrow straight into a hydrogen-filled balloon.
Like that would be a cool arrow for Horizon Forbidden West because you can like use it to aim at like creatures that are higher. Like the arrow would naturally fly higher.
Are you suggesting that the crossbow was used deliberately?
Dragon, we don't need memes yet in Xenoblade 3. It's not out yet. I'm sure we'll get memes.
We'll get plenty of memes.
But you're right. The streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then the explosion only of the balloon was
Very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside of it.
No!
Order! Council, this is extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's obvious reason why that would have been out of the question.
The noise of the discharge, of course.
Dragon, no, I don't think they can have anything as good as Think You Can Take Me and Don't Forget Me. But unfortunately, those memes will have to just live in our memories forever now.
Yeah, yeah, because it's not even like you can't even access it anymore unless you like
videos online.
Yeah, videos online. The
if you get an unpatched game, but Xenoblade 2 is really hard to find now.
Yeah.
So,
do the updates rewire the carts themselves, or could you delete your content?
No, No, I think that the updates on the Switch, but I don't think you can delete updates.
You'd have to buy a new Switch and not update.
You might. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's not a hoops I want to jump through to figure it out, but that's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile can be fired at the balloon silently.
Well, yeah, if someone had the shot. If somebody had shot a gun off in the exhibition grounds, it would have caused a real panic.
Shady said, I mean, it's not quite as loud as a gun, but a crossbow isn't exactly quiet. Well, I guess it would be in a crowd. And then he said, wait for the modders, they will fix it, but I assume that doesn't have to do with the crossbow.
Can somebody please mod real life to make crossbows louder? The meta.
No, quieter. Quieter is the point.
Oh, I want. Oh, sorry. I wanted them louder.
Quiet.
I wanted them. They've had it too good for too long.
They're too OP in war situations.
Somebody mod the crossbows to be louder.
But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no?
I don't like this. Now, Shitty said, I want the mod that makes the crossbows do the Macho Man oh yeah sound when it fires.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
And Dragon said he took an arrow to the knee.
This episode is
digging
memes.
Digging in older memes now.
What does Patagreed do? Arrow to the knee. Macho Man, Randy Savage.
I used to be an adventurer like you, but what does Pot of Greed do?
Cream of the crop!
I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Do you understand the implications of what Pot of Grease does, my Nipponese friend?
JD says Pot of Greed does, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It allows me to, oh yeah, in battle, Yugi.
No, 2 times. Allows you to, oh yeah.
It allows me to, oh yeah, Yugi, twice.
If a drawing it, what are you drawing?
If a dragon arrow to the knee did indeed hit the adventurer like yourself.
If a hydrogen arrow did indeed hit
the balloon
again, then obviously it would have exploded. But if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued.
What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying here? I don't get it. What's the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all?
Oh, what?
Goodness me.
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse is bolted.
Hairbrain's like in the corner, just screaming into the void. They had to like take him out of the court.
They
like,
removed his mouth, but he still must scream.
No!
And Dragon made a joke about drinking the Kool-Aid, and Shady made a joke about the Kool-Aid being hydrogen flavored. So, which I don't know what that tastes like.
It's a once in a lifetime taste. I'll tell you that.
I assume there's a non-lethal amount of hydrogen. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. No, we did not, Dragon. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above the heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous, what you describe as no science experiment. It's child's play, a contemptible display of stage magic.
Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said the experiment was a scientific implausibility. Andrew number 4, but I won't bring him up. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day.
In any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the Crystal Tower. If the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that?
If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such an apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception.
Juror number 3.
All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asmund. And having this other man appear on stage to front the show is a body double.
He just released doves in the courtroom, but okay.
I mean,
Yes, of course. So in fact,
is that where is it male Strongheart? Is that where Lionheart? Is that where he gets all his doves?
the courtroom from this magician,
Yeah.
Mr. Asmund must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. If anything inside it would have been scattered to the four winds, anything inside it would have been scattered to the four winds and exploded. No one would have even embarked on such a risky venture.
Also, I looked it up. 110 to 135 ppm of hydrogen is maybe fatal or at the very least dangerous to life.
Well, then I'll just have 100.
It can't be tolerated to an hour without any immediate effects. Anything from 45 to 54 ppm.
Or 45 to 54.
Yeah. So you're correct. There is a non-lethal amount of hydrogen that you can consume.
There's a non-lethal amount of anything. Poison's lethal in a certain dose.
Yeah, but some doses are like negligible. Like functionally any amount would kill you, but yes, technically you can have like a picogram of it and not die, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that is the world of semantics that you choose to exist in, knowing you as a human.
I just saying you could you could taste some without dying. Not fatal.
Fair. I don't think in such small doses you could even taste it, but your point stands. Your point stands. I will give it to you.
Then don't swallow.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas will very much depend on the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mix of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio. Can somebody summon William Nye? he is by far the most scientific man I know.
I guess that joke is just for myself.
Yeah, just for you.
Obviously, the victim's body would suffer some burns, but that would be unavoidable.
And not to such an extent as to render the hold-up scene charade impossible.
So everything that happened could be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception, to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Oh, goodness me.
If we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with.
Ugh.
In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time.
Ugh.
I mean, I can think of quite a few huge holes of that, but...
This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zeek can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrayne is a suspect now.
Someone holding it.
Mr. Naruto, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor? But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry?
What's this about, Mr. Harebrayne?
I, Albert Harebrayne, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Asman. Yes, it was me, thy faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing?
Order! Defendant, explain this sudden confession.
Professor Harebrayne, what are you talking about? It's what I said all along. I must protect my hypothesis, my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick. All an elaborate prank, but where's the proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it. But then it would all be over. That beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it.
Yeah, Shady, rather go to jail than be known as a fraud. Not just go to jail, they've implied that it's the death penalty for all murders in this, setting. He's saying he's rather get sentenced to death than have his hypothesis fail.
It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove... Broke!
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please.
Ensure the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhered to and protect my creation. Not necessarily, Shady.
Pray forget to discard to see a filling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nepalese friend.
What?
Throw it, Arianovsky. Throw it, Arianovsky. It's the origin story.
What's that to do with coffee?
Mm. In his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession, do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick?
No, I want Van Zeeks and Godot to like meet now and interact.
Cool names, fan fiction.
As they fight over coffee versus wine.
It's an enemies to lovers fan fiction. It's perfect.
They eventually become lovers and create coffee wine.
Coffee wine, caffeine infused wine.
No, it's wine made out of coffee beans.
Oh, that I feel like that's a thing.
Because they created it.
Canonically.
With the power of their love.
Oh.
The Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor of infections will cease to apply. The prosecutor will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine, victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypotheses preserved.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust.
You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Lebanese mind?
You do not. I thought we were friends, Von Zeeks. Ugh.
How's he friends with Naruto?
We bantered over your crappy taste in art and your ugly office. Like, you should like me by now.
If anything, you'd hate him more.
No, that's not how that
Now
works.
it's personal. Mr.
I
Noda.
made fun of your bats in your office. We're cool.
You could just say, like, boogers. You don't have to say bats in an office.
I made of your fly being down. There were zippers invented in the 1600s?
I don't think so. This isn't 1600s either. This is 1800s.
1800s. I still want to know.
There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... What are we doing?
Find out next time. No. So I'll tell you what I would do in this case. Zippers were invented in 1914.
Told you.
I would fulfill the wishes of my client because I think that's ultimately your job.
So
Kinda.
say it's a scientific invention and let him be condemned?
I mean, for the sake of the case, for the sake of seeing it, I think our audience would probably like to see it. But the game wants us to say it's a conjuring trick because the truth is more important. But I mean, if you want to pick that one, and then next time we can pick the right direction, the right option to continue going. I don't know. It's up to
Proper
you.
scientific invention, you want to say?
Yeah.
I think that's what I picked going forward anyways. Ugh.
Oh, you picked the same thing?
No, I can't say it. My client placed his faith in me. I can't just let him down.
But thou
What
must.
must I give up on now? What must I give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. Wait, no, I think this is... Is this Kazuma?
What must I give up on? It's not the question to ask yourself. It's what can I protect?
No! No! Ah! Why?
Spontaneously apparated from Japan.
Spontaneous
just
kinesis.
just to make you.
Just to make me wrong. Do you want me to reread that?
Up to you, if you want to.
I guess.
What must I give up on? It's not the question you should ask yourself here. It's, what can I protect?
I thought it was like a memory flashback thing again.
Me too. I was expecting the dun 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 dun.
They don't do that song in this game.
The Kazuma theme uses that as a leitmotif. Did you not notice?
It's not the same one.
It's the same leitmotif, just with different instruments.
Well, read your lines. We want to get
Hello
done.
again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long.
Suzaru-san. But what are you...
Oh yeah! Oh
I get my first Suzaru takedown in 6 months.
Oh gosh, if this was an anime, like, it'd be so exciting right now.
yeah! There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate at the task at hand.
Inheritance just said this isn't exciting.
Which is working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Hairbrain. Ah, yes! Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth.
This is Kazuma's, isn't it?
No, this is
it's not.
Suzaru's.
Yeah.
Well, my job is to pursue the truth, too.
I wake up, I go out, I reach out to the
Yes,
truth.
of course.
On my
And
blessing.
personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Hasman. I think you've come to realize something yourself, too, haven't you? That your experiment in the machine you built for the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now.
Whoa!
My other leg!
So you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer.
Ah!
Having heard my learned friends assert, don't you have something to say?
Baruch! Lord Van Zeeks.
Who? Baroque?
Van
She's never
Zeeks.
heard. She's never heard Baroque speak like that.
Yeah.
Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before.
In truth, there's one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
Beg your pardon.
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine. Let me see. One less lens than me, too, a monocle, a rather stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to positively identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention.
Could have led with that.
What?
Well, one, his entire description was just comparing it to the person to him. And two, like, he saw the person who built his machine with a crossbow right before the experiment and didn't suspect that was, like, weird.
Again, some people have weird hobbies. Who am I to judge?
He built the machine.
Yeah, he was in a crowd.
That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber.
Trevor?
Enoch!
Trevor?
Trying to check, because I don't remember what Enoch Drebber's name even is.
Just throwing a dart at the wall. It's going to be a Sherlock Holmes character.
Well, that dart landed right on the mark. Okay.
What case is he from? A Scandal in Bohemia?
A Study in Scarlet.
A Study in Scarlet. Ooh.
Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered.
Not a name any scientist wishes to hear. That man's an abomination.
Not a man any conjurer wishes to hear either.
Who on earth is he?
That man's an abomination.
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale in nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with the name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but staged trickery in the end.
Obviously, the rascal is after the government research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with unparalleled confidence trickster here.
He's Mysterio.
That's Enoch Drebber for you!
Not wrong, that's Mysterio.
Blah, 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 blah.
We're about to end. It's about to be
I'm not in a rush.
So it's true then.
freaking controller, really?
Outcry made a cake roll for me today.
A cake roll? Oh, cake roll.
Cake roll.
A cake roll.
Cake roll. That's my favorite Donkey Kong villain.
I'm pressing 8. There we go. My invention. My great machine. It was just a grand illusion.
Considering what we just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Even though no one believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that the machine was examined in detail, its construction would be given away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I've worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified of the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
Darkness is the true nature of the machine.
That True Nature of the Machine is my favorite metal band.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asmi and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Sad music. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Unfortunate.
It would appear we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now.
Whoa!
Lord Von Zeeks,
My lord.
the court has duly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Trevor.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Good night, Shady.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Whoa! Whatever will happen next? Find out next time.
Oh, we're not quite at the save yet.
Next time is now.
I like to think that Harebrain just stayed in that position as we walked out of the room.
Oh, that's real
Did not look
sad.
up.
Mr. Naruto! Yes? I'm so sorry.
I was wrong. You're right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess.
Oh, how did it ever come to this?
I'm so sorry.
Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebo was really up to, I mean. About what he was really constructing. Naturally. The machine was the embodiment of a hypothesis, of my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it.
It's in Mr. Noodle Hurdle.
Mr. Noodle Hurdle.
Alright, in that case I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands, so you must do as much investigation as you can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me.
I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruto.
Arriving late?
Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive.
Postcard? What postcard?
I hid it from you, Bruno, so be a surprise.
Iris! Iris, bad. That's a bad Iris.
That's I want to say that's illegal, but I don't know if that's illegal in 1800s like England. But
I mean, it's illegal to open other people's mails, but a postcard is not technically something you can open. So,
but I don't think you can take somebody's mail either, which hiding it from somebody is.
yeah.
Well, did it work?
I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future.
Oh, or affection? Why did you say it? You know, Skeg?
Because he actually enjoys it. He has a thing for being flipped over. I didn't say this. Let's just move on. Edit that out of the video, editor.
Yourself.
Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see.
But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. That's rough. That's animal abuse.
I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you didn't.
Oh,
Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you back in London.
oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruto. I'm delighted to be here.
Suki ga kirai desu, sune.
That's a reference to the last case. The moon sure is beautiful, right? I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course, so which brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest?
Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait!
Good. The stream's been long enough. We need to do that next time. Sato-san is back in London.
Hasn't even been that long.
It's hard to describe how happy it made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn.
What kind of turn will it be?
A left turn.
No! That's not how hooks work. You want to hook them in, you can't tell them the direction of the turn.
A backwards turn.
Ooh, I like that. There's intrigue, there's mystery. They're going to know what's the front direction. Why is it backwards? It's going to be good content.
A 4,682 degree turn.
You got to spend a lot of times to do that math.
Yeah, that leaves some mystery because most people won't actually want to math that out, and so
yeah, they'll just have to wait and see.
I guess I have to figure out how much of a turn that was next time.